The Dan Townley Breakfast Show. Weekdays 8 till 10 on Six Towns Radio.
Yes, it is. And joining me on the phone right now is one half of the dynamic duo, I'd like to say, Reggie N Bollie. Reggie's joining me. Reggie, how are you, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself, Dan?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Thank you very much for getting up this early to do the interview with me.
That's fine. I mean, took my kids on a short holiday, so they managed to wake me up early. So you have to be ready for the interview.
I'm so sorry. It is just one of you.
No, that's fine.
You said you try to get in touch with Bollie, but he's just not answering at the moment, so he might call halfway through the interview.
Yeah, he might. I'm hoping he does, because it will be really good. I mean, it's something that we discussed that is happening, so definitely. It's either his phone is off at the moment, so I'm sure it's either there's something wrong or, it's just by mistake. So definitely he should join in as the interview goes on.
We'll see what happens. If not, we'll have to go on tour ourselves. We'll call it Reggie and Danny.
Now it will be Reggie and Dan. Simple as that.
Reggie and Dan.
Bollie can become our probably tour manager, drive us around, and that'll be it.
That sounds like a great idea. I mean, I can't dance, but I'm guessing you'll be able to teach me, and we'll see how it goes from there. So that's how it goes. So, Reggie, just tell me, how did you and Bollie kind of come together and decide to go on to the X Factor way back in 2015?
Come again?
How did it come about that you and Bollie got together to kind of obviously start singing together? And when was the decision made for you to go on to the X Factor way back in 2015?
We were both solo artists in Ghana, and when we relocated here, that was when we decided to pursue our music career. But it wasn't easy because we didn't have the followers and people to help us achieve a lot. So we decided to just strip everything down, back to basics, to go on a platform that can help us showcase our talent. So we decided to go on Britain's Got Talent, went all the way almost to meet the celebrity judges, because there are some prelims that you need to do before that. And we couldn't make it, unfortunately. And we were really gutted. And we were like, what do we do? Should we go on X Factor as well? Which we did. And just to let you know as well, before we went on X Factor, I had auditioned for The Voice as well. So we were literally doing everything to get the break. And finally, we went on X Factor thinking, we're going there, not really sure if we will make it far. And by God's grace, we went all the way to the final. So that is the story.
Especially, like you said, you were trying everything. You were plugging away everything to try and get your break, and that came from the X Factor. You did make you were in the final, like you were in the top two, right through the very end. Did you expect, because the competition was it was a tough competition that year. I remember it was very, very strong. Yeah. Did you, when you were looking at the finalists, did you go, we're going to go here, or was there a bit of doubt in your mind?
You know what? From the first day, we doubted ourselves. It was down to our wives and family members and friends. I remember when our first audition was aired, I was still working as a sales person at my former workplace, and all my office mates would be like, "Mate, you guys will go far. Just believe it. Keep your." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm not really sure, So it took a lot of well wishers to say you can do it. And even when we went to the live shows and everything, we still weren't sure. Even Cheryl, our mentor, said it to us. She was like, "Guys, at Judge's house, you guys looked like you had lost out." I was like, "Believe in yourselves." We're like, yeah, we just felt like, because of the journey of music we do, we felt like, maybe people might not accept us. So we weren't keeping our hopes high. And we are happy people edged us on. If it was left to just me and Bollie, we would have given up and not gone far.
So was it the X Factor or nothing for you? If the X Factor didn't come off, would that have been the end of Reggie N Bollie?
Yes. If the X Factor hadn't happened, that was our last resort to try at music, because we had gotten to a point where we felt like, we're doing our best, but maybe this thing is not for us. And sometimes we all have wishes and dreams, but sometimes you need to concede and say, you know what, I tried and it didn't work. So, and plus, you know, we are family men too, and we were spending our money. Imagine you go to work at the end of the month and you've got bills to pay in the house, and you know you are spending most of your income on music, and you're not bringing anything home. It's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it was just a point where we're like, look, if this doesn't work, that's it. We tried our best. God knows we tried, and that's it. And it's one thing that we are so grateful for life, that this show actually gave us another chance at our dreams.
And you mentioned your family there as well. Family was a big part for both of you during the whole X Factor process, especially your children. Obviously, you said your girlfriends and your wives. It was a very important part of that journey for you.
Yeah.
Is it important as a musician to have that downtime? You said you're on holiday right now. Is it important for you to have that separate life and go, I can go back, I can relax, I can just be me? Is it important to have that?
It is extremely important, and I tell you why. You know, like with our little experience in, you know, the public's eye when we were on X Factor and still performing and all of that, you realize that there are times when you're on the road doing all these shows, or, you know, when you need to wake up early in the morning, go here, come here, do this, do that, you get a bit drained. You know, and so when you're a bit drained, and let's say after 1 week or 2 weeks, you get home and your kids are running to you, your wife is smiling at you, asking you what has happened and everything, and giving you that natural love, it just calms you down, and it gives you another reason to know that they are the reason why you're doing what you're doing, and you cannot give up, or you cannot grow tired of what you're doing. And I remember listening to a documentary by one of the very experienced Hollywood celebrities, and he said, look, one of the major reasons why a lot of artists, like the extremely successful ones, end up in drugs and a lot of things, is that you go out there and you do whatever you're supposed to do, you come home and you're by yourself. It's either you and your security or you and your chef. So what do? You need to invite in friends here and there, and that is when the trouble begins. So family is extremely important. Even if you haven't got kids, and you can go back to your mom or your brother or your cousins, because they love you for who you are, not the famous person you are becoming. It just shows how grounded you are, that you believe that, man, and I love that. That's how it was, and you can see that's how it was during the X Factor. As I mentioned, it was always going back to your families. It was never for you. It was, I want to improve the life. I want to give them the life that I want to give. I want to give them the best life that they can, and that's incredible. Let's move on from the X Factor. Obviously, that's a big part of your career, and you said it was the defining factor in your career and whether you decided to continue with music or not. How have you two, obviously, you can kind of speak on behalf of you as a duo, how have you kind of grown as musicians and people since the X Factor? Well, you know, when we went on the X Factor, I think before we went on the show, we were learning a whole lot of things about the music industry over here in UK and, you know, around the world. But I think our time on the X Factor really opened our eyes to, you know, understand the way a lot of things work. You know what I mean? And so when we were done on the show, and luckily, by God's grace, Simon Cowell signed us to his label, Psycho, that was another learning curve, because then we got to do all the radio interviews, TV interviews. You go on the major platforms here and there, and you begin to understand the way the industry works, that you need to stay as humble and, you know, see yourself not bigger than anyone, but know that you are here for a purpose, and that is to live your dream by pursuing your career. And so, like, it really helped us. The show really helped us to really understand a lot of things about the industry. And
you've now started your own independent music label, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah. We've just started. The name of the label is FROD Music, which stands for Fearlessly Ruling Our Destinies. I mean, from the way things were before we went on X Factor, and, you know, getting all the exposure and everything, being signed to Cycle, and then the time came for us to part ways with the label. We were like, you know what, we are too blessed to fold our arms and sit down and say, oh, you know what, we are Reggie N Bollie from X Factor. We're going to sit down and wait for the next big label to come and sign us. No, that is not what life is. You use the little you have to build towards the bigger you need, you know. So we decided, you know what, by God's grace, we've been blessed. We've played shows here and there. A few things have brought us some income. Why not invest in ourselves? Because if you believe in yourself, you will invest in yourself. And that's what gave birth to our record label. And we're so glad, you know, we've started this journey. And sometimes when opportunities come, like to do interviews with radio stations like yourselves, it's like, you know what, it's gradually building, gradually, it will get there. And that is what is happening now.
That again, it's just a testament to you that you're not willing to stand still. You're not willing to wait. It's willing to kind of pave your own path in music, and I absolutely appreciate and love that, man. Let's talk about just before we wrap up, and I'll let you go back to your family. Let's talk about your new single. That's out right now. What's it called? Where can people find it?
Yeah, so our latest single is titled Bumaye. Which is a song that we're really proud of. We're really happy the reception we're getting for it. The song, you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, you know, all the music distribution platforms. Wherever you go, it will be, you can find it there. You just look for Reggie N Bollie and we're there. And I mean, we're really happy about this song. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Reggie, you are on Twitter as well, Reggie N Bollie. Bollie hasn't turned up for this interview. He hasn't called in. So now it's officially Reggie and Dan. I think that's how it should be.
Yes, exactly. Reggie and Dan. Yes, please. That is it. The group is now Reggie and Dan. Bollie can just, you know...
He can be a backing dancer.
Be our tour manager. Yeah. No, you know what? We don't have to give him the chance to even come on stage. He can just, you know... just be there, bring us our towel, and, you know, after performance, and that's it.
I will let you have that discussion with him before it becomes official, just in case he's not down with that. Reggie, thank you very much for calling and letting us speak to you whilst you're on holiday with your family. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. I've really enjoyed the interview, and we're really grateful your radio station has given us the platform to talk about our music and our journey.
Absolutely.
And we will entreat all listeners to get a song, Bumaye, Reggie N Bollie's latest single.
Well, we're going to play that right now, so do you want to introduce it for our listeners of Six Sounds Radio?
All right. So, hey, guys, this is Reggie N Bollie's latest single, Bumaye, playing now on Six Sounds Radio. Let's go!